Hey Internet, Eric here. Well, it's Slashback Saturday. If you're new to my channel or you don't know what the concept is, the Horror Man over on his channel has this weekly concept. It's kind of like Horror Freak 85's Fright Friday and Need Gore's Bloody Sunday. In the middle of that is Horror Man's Slashback Saturday. What he does is he has a theme for the week, and what you're supposed to do if you want to participate is find a specific movie, horror movie, specifically a slasher film that fits into that category. And this week was super easy. It's been a while since I've done one of these. I've been so busy. Um, I'm glad to be back because this week was 80s slashers. Super easy. Find a slasher movie that was made in the 80s. And I didn't want to do the usual, like Friday the 13th or any of that stuff. Because I've already discussed the whole series of all the big ones for the most part. So I wanted to do one I had never seen before. Literally, I went to Google, typed in 80s slashers, and I was gonna do Happy Birthday to Me, and I had it because I did an unboxing once, like my Mill Creek unboxing, and it was part. I had the DVD of Happy Birthday to Me in like a stack of like best ofs, and I played it. The DVD skipped, and I said fuck it. So I'm not doing that, and it's good because I think a few other people did it as well. So I went back to Google and found this one, and I had access to it because it was on YouTube. Uh, Today I'm discussing 1981's The Prowler. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I do discuss plot spoilers, specific scenes, what have you. Also, 1981, if you haven't seen it by now, oh well. I said I went into this blind, and first off, I was excited. Well, let's get to the plot. Plot starts in the 40s. Our boys are coming home from World War II. And there's this girl, Rosemary. She's writing a Dear John letter to her boyfriend. She's been waiting for him to come home for so long. She wants to go and live her life, type of thing. Then we cut to a ball, and I think it's for our soldiers coming home, like a welcome home ball for the soldiers for coming home to this particular town. While those, like the majority of them, are partying, Rosemary and her new boyfriend are at a gazebo making out, and then they are murdered by an unseen assailant. The assailant puts a rose in Rosemary's hand. Now we cut to present day. This is the first time the ball has been done since the murders. I think the sheriff outlawed it, or the major outlawed it, or somebody did. And of course, murders are happening again, and we are following the final girl and the deputy trying to find out who is behind all these murders. I was really excited when I saw that Joseph Zito and Tom Savini are together in this because they worked together later in Friday the 13th Part 4. Zito directed and Savini did the effects. And that's one of the best out of, like at least best made out of the entire series, in my opinion. So it was good to see where they started. And man, this movie was a lot of fun. First off, we'll do my usual spiel. Characters, there's only two characters that you really give a damn about in this movie, and that's not a negative slight or a negative slight to this movie at all. But the first girl, or the final girl, we'll call it, the first person I want to talk about, I think her character's name is Vicky, and she's your stereotypical 80s slasher final girl. I really liked her because super pretty, she's smart, um, her acting is pretty decent. Um, and I like, because we'll get to the last like 15-20 minutes, is when she's being chased by the assailant. She's not necessarily the whole scared damsel in distress. She does fight back, and in a couple scenes, she does a good job, and I really like it. So I really like this. I'm just gonna call her Vicky for the sake of it. Really liked her character. Really. The other character we follow is the deputy, and I don't know if these were former lovers, current lovers, what have you. The movie made it seem that way, but he's likable too. He does his best to try to protect her, find out who this assailant is. His acting is pretty decent for the most part. Their detective work isn't overly stupid. You know what I mean? They're doing the best with what they can with what they got. So these two characters, super likable. Everyone else, the teenagers, they're just victims. You don't expect much. You don't get much. We have the major, who I nearly shit myself when I found out it was played by Lawrence Tierney. The head dude from Reservoir Dogs. Looks like the Thing. Motherfucker looks like the Thing. The old dude. Um, That surprised me, but he's barely in this movie. There's a couple other characters. Like there's a good comic relief scene. I love when I think the deputy is trying to get hold of the sheriff because the sheriff went to go camping this weekend, and he's talking to this big giant redneck chewing tobacco, and the redneck's just giving them the runaround on the phone, and I I love this character. He's maybe 3 minutes of movie time, but really really funny. So they did a good job with the comic relief to relieve the tension in this film. So I really love that character as well. Okay, now we'll go to the gore. Well, first off, you know what? Let's go. Fuck it. We'll go to the Prowler. Let's see if I can get this back up here. Um, Unseen assailant because he's covered up and he's in, army combat uh, outfit. Full boots and helmet, and his face is covered and everything. Looks intimidating. Big dude, has a presence. One line of dialogue. Um, so very scary looking, especially for like it's a unique look for 80s slashers. It's not a clown mask. It's not a hockey mask. Anything like that. I like how there's one scene which I think is really cool, and it sets up how dangerous this guy is. Is it's not really a montage, but it's just a quick shot of him getting prepared. You see him put the combat knife in the sheath on his leg, and just getting ready to go cause mayhem. Um, and then when he does cause mayhem, we get some great gore. We get the first kill I think is really great. Is Rosemary and her boyfriend. He uses a pitchfork and he does a double impalement. We get wonderful neck slashes. Not just slashes, but we get the knife in the neck and it's slowly cutting and blood everywhere. We get just a stabbing in the neck. We get a stabbing in the head. And I think it comes out under his chin, and then he struggles to get the knife out. I mean, that's brutal, wince inducing, and a little bit of comedy. We get some gunshot wounds. So Savini does a really good job here. Shows why, the best was yet to come because in 1981 he was damn good. We get a head explosion. Ooh. I've seen the head explosion from Maniac. This was just as damn good. So Savini knew what he was doing. Gore is fantastic. The score, it's kind of generic, but it works for the tension of this movie, especially the last 15-20 minutes where the Prowler is going after Vicky. Reminiscent of, I think, Harry Manfredini's score. I checked. It's not him, but we'll get to that because there's a lot of similarities. This came out in 81. There's a lot of similarities, and I like this, between this and Friday the 13th Part 2. And it could be a coincidence, I don't know, because they came out the same fucking year, but this last 20 minutes is, I'm going to say 20 minutes, is the Prowler stalking Vicky with a pitchfork. His face is covered, no dialogue. There's, and it's great because it's a great, I'm just going to say homage, okay? And like I said, they came out the same year. But I've seen Friday the 13th so many times. I'm going to say it's an homage, even though, like I said, who knows. He's chasing her with his pitchfork. There's a scene where she's hiding under a table, and he's got the pitchfork, and he's going through the room and stalking her. And it's really cool because she's under a table she's in a room where everything's, covered with blankets to keep the dust off, and he's just hitting the tables, and you can hear the thing shatter under it, and he's trying to drive her out. And there's even a scene where a rat comes and, spooks her. She doesn't piss herself like Ginny did in Part 2. But that was really cool. There's even a scene where she takes the pitchfork and she's pointing it right at the camera, just like in Friday the 13th Part 2. It was a lot of fun. I like that whole last scene. I like how he stabs the pitchfork like through like the spot between the door and the wall, and she's able to break it off, so that's how she gets the weapon. So really good intense moment. And then she's struggling with him at the end. They're finally fighting, and like I said, that's why I like her, because she's strong at the end. She's not just, oh, damsel in distress, please help me. And and there is also a fake out too. You think he's dead and he's not, type of thing. Because what's great is and I'll get to this because this is one of my low moments. She is saved by somebody, and that's where the fake out happens. The guy shoots the Prowler, and then he's taken care of course, because the Prowler comes back, and then they're struggling, and so it shows she's able to hold her own physically with this Prowler, and that's what makes her a really good character. And that's just what made the the final, like I said, last 15 minutes, 20 minutes, really good, because the score, which I said another reminiscent of Friday the 13th Part 2, helped it. Really liked it. Downsides, it drags a little bit in parts, but not as much as I would expect it to. Um, the whole scene with the ball, I wish they would have made a bigger deal, because this is the first time we have a ball in 30, 40 years or whatever. And they don't focus that much. Like, I would have loved if the killer was in the ballroom killing people. And instead we just get some kills to the side, which is okay. We have random scenes thrown in. Like, there's a scene of two kids making out and somebody's watching them. I don't know if it's Lawrence Tierney or what, and then it goes nowhere. So I don't know if it was just thrown in there for padding. Um, I didn't like how, like I said, Vicky was saved by this random person. I don't know if that was Lawrence Tierney or not, who saved her from the Prowler, and then the Prowler comes back, takes care of him. And then we get the reveal of the Prowler, and a lot of people said that they were able to figure out who the Prowler was right away. I didn't, because I don't want to reveal it, because I wasn't paying attention. I'm not gonna lie, because it was early in the beginning of the film, and when you see who the Prowler is, it just kind of slipped my mind. And then I wish there was an explanation on why he was doing it. You can kind of put it together, but they don't follow up with that at the end. But when he's taken out, beautiful. And just like Friday the 13th Part 2, there's a jump scare at the end, which you saw it coming. Didn't really get me. Cheesy, goofy, but that's 1981 slashers. Yeah, but I want to say, overall, I really enjoyed the Prowler. I had a lot of fun. Oh, and one of the things is, I was talking about, like, the brutality of a lot of the kills, because we get a pitchfork. We get an homage to Psycho. Someone's killed in the shower. The pitchfork goes in her body, and she's lifted up, and so you see just how powerful and brutal this is. I really, really recommend the Prowler. Thought it was a lot of fun. But one of the things, like I said, the kills are brutal. I think the most brutal thing in this whole movie was when one of the girls she's swimming in a pool, and she just goes just out of nowhere. She goes to climb up out of it, and she just fucking gets booted right in the face by the Prowler, and that was just a holy shit moment. I'm like, God damn, he just kicked her in the fucking face, and I loved it. I highly, highly recommend the Prowler, 1981. I'm glad Horror Man did this 80s slasher theme, so I could broaden my horizon, I guess you want to say. So highly recommend the Prowler. Joseph Zito and Savini show that they work well together. Great gore, likable characters, the main ones we gotta follow. Intimidating killer. Great 15-20 minutes at the end. Yeah, really enjoy the Prowler overall. So that's it. Thank you for watching and all that jazz. Like, subscribe, click the bell. Comment below. Tell me if you've seen the Prowler. Tell me if you're one of the few that don't really like the Prowler, because a lot of people say it is just boring, and I really wasn't bored overall. And I also want to say, if you're new to YouTube and you're into horror movies, give the Slashback challenge a try. It's not a weekly requirement. It's just a fun way to get you out there on YouTube, and just to, interact with the Horror Man. He's got a really cool channel. He does occasional live streams. The Slashback. What do they call them? Super Slash Brothers. And he does unboxings and this and that. Joe's a really cool guy, and even if you don't like to be on camera, you can still do the Slashback, because we don't know who the fuck Joe looks like. He's never been on camera. Horrific Nightmares JM, another really cool guy. He's one of the Super Slash brothers. A lot of times he's not on camera as well. So if you're one of those people who don't want to be on camera, you can still do this. So I highly recommend. I'll say it one last time. Highly recommend the Prowler. Hope you guys go to do Slashback challenge because it's a lot of fun. Yeah. So in the end, I'll just say cheers and happy Slashback Saturday.